Left of the box. This one is a bit long. This clip is like 9.5 minutes from question period, but it's well worth it, I think. It's, yeah. I shall hit play and you will find out what I mean.
I will comment on one spectacular social housing project of his, and that is the brand new lavish apartment that he bought his friend, the new Consul General to New York. $9 million for his friend Tom Clark to have stunning powder room finished.
So, an ambassador to the United States in New York has a $9 million place. I don't know if the Canadian government bought it, is renting it, probably bought it or something. Again, we're talking about New York real estate. It's not going to be cheap. And I don't know if it's as lavish as Pierre Poilievre is saying it is, but it's not like that is out of character for any government. Now, keep in mind, this guy here, he lives in a $4.3 million home paid for by the taxpayers. You know, he's living off of a pension that we're paying. So, you know, just horrendous thought that an ambassador to the United States would have a decent place to live. Like, granted, I wouldn't mind them just getting an average place and cheap and all that sort of stuff. But who here thinks for one moment that, Pierre, if he was in power, wouldn't be doing the exact same thing? He would totally be doing the exact same thing.
In jewel onyx, crystallo gold quartzite countertops, a handcrafted copper soaking tub, custom bronze bathroom fixtures, $5,000 coffee machine. Did the Prime Minister go and inspect this palace in the sky on his recent trip to New York?
You see that smug look on his face? Darn it, it's like in there for... There we go. Look at that smug ass face. And Hermit Horologist is also mentioning that this place was actually sold for $14 million. Then I guess bought at $9 million. Oh, so they sold the old place that they had, that they were using for the embassy. I remember glancing over this in an article. They sold the old place that they were using as this embassy for $14 million and then got this $9 million place. So they actually made $5 million on this deal in a way. So it's always, they pick and choose what details that they like to leave in or keep out and all that sort of stuff. But look at that smug ass face. He's just sitting down there like, yeah, I told him. Talked about the tub and the counters and all that sort of stuff.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, engaging with international leaders on fighting climate change, on solving global crises, on standing up unequivocally for Ukraine.
You might have just missed that. So let's scroll back. This isn't a YouTube video where I can like go frame by frame, so this is a little bit more challenging, but let's see. Watch this guy right here, right there. This one, this guy right here.
Unequivocally for Ukraine.
What he said is, did you engage with each other in the bathtub? And this gets a nice laugh from those sitting around him.
Colleagues, just as I said before, just as I said earlier, I ask all members to please not take the floor unless they're recognized by the speaker so that we can hear the questions and we can hear the answers.
So technically speaking, you're not supposed to be doing the heckling and stuff, which they apparently always all do. And so the speaker has to stand up to kind of like, you know, back when you were in school and the class was really chatty and the teacher would do this and then everyone would have to put their hand up and be quiet. That's kind of what the Speaker of the House does when there's a lot of crosstalk and things of that sort.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister from the top, please.
Mr. Speaker, don't worry. On this side of the House, we're used to casual homophobic comments from the other side of the House. Mr. Speaker, what is it about the...
And so now they cut the mics completely because of all the crosstalk. This isn't the video cutting out, it's literally the feed on CPAC cutting out. But yeah, at least Justin Trudeau called out the homophobic remark coming from that guy right there. And so they're kind of discussing like, oh, what should we do about this? And note again, like the extravagance of the government. Like you see here, this golden cane and stuff, the chairs and whatnot, like this is government luxury, full stop. Oh. So you can skip ahead with an arrow key. And now we're at the part where like all the other students are kind of getting annoyed and like, shh, shh, quiet, we need to move on. Shh, 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 each other.
Please. I heard comments that because it was not on microphone, I chose not to get up.
Since it wasn't on the microphone, I chose not to acknowledge it. Is what he's actually saying. It's like, oh no, since it's not loud, I chose not to acknowledge the comment, the homophobic comment.
I would ask, nonetheless, that we all treat each other with the presumption of honor and respect. And I'll ask the Prime Minister to please withdraw that comment and to start his comment again under the...
So now here, it's where I get really mad. Because now the Speaker of the House is acknowledging that he heard a comment, one that wasn't very appropriate. And instead of calling out the Conservatives, he's now asking Justin Trudeau to take back his comment mentioning that, you know, the Conservatives do casual homophobic comments. So he's now chastising the Prime Minister for calling out the homophobia on the other side.
Colleagues, I heard a comment, as I said, which I could not stand up because I did not know who said it.
Now, we saw who it was because we're watching the video. It's entirely possible he did not know exactly at that moment who said that comment. And do you know what he could have done at this point? Said, we're not going any further. Like, this is where you get into teacher brain. We're not going to go any further in class until you identify who that was, because there were people around this guy laughing. So there was a whole swath of the Conservatives that knew who said that comment. So instead of saying, please identify yourself or please single out that person, it's like, no, Justin, you need to take back your comment calling out that homophobia.
But we should be... But colleagues, I don't appreciate when we would tar the entire members with that concern. And I'm going to ask the honourable member, please, to withdraw that comment, start his question again, and let us presume the better natures of all members of Parliament here.
And just again, this respectability, politics, the decorum in the House and stuff like that. And quite honestly, when it comes to the Conservatives, who are becoming increasingly more right-wing in what they say and what they do, no, we don't have to treat them with respect. Like, they are trying to strip away my rights. I don't respect them. And I don't see why anyone should try to respect them even though they work with them, because they don't deserve people's respect. They've done nothing to get that respect. You know, the whole respect is earned, not given type thing. And the Conservatives are increasingly becoming horrible people. So, no. And I think more of this type of thing should be happening, where the Liberals and the NDP in the moment are calling out the Conservatives on their bullshit. Because far too often you hear the Conservatives say whatever the hell they want, but they're never called out in that moment. And so I'm glad Justin called it out in the moment.
Right, Honourable Prime Minister from the top.
Mr. Speaker, standing up to bullies requires us to call them out on their crap sometimes, and that's what I will do.
Quiet now. Everyone hush down, hush down. Going to make somebody stand in the corner and let you all be quiet.
I'll invite the Prime Minister once again to rise on his feet. And thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I will happily withdraw my comment if the member who suggested that I was sharing a bathtub with Tom Clark stands up, takes responsibility for his...
So instead of actually doing this, what I feel is a very reasonable call, they cut Justin Trudeau's mic so that he couldn't finish that statement. Because, like, not only was this just casual homophobia coming from the Conservatives, but, you know, Justin has a right to kind of take this one personally because it was directed right at him. Like, this wasn't just a general casual homophobia. It was directed right at Justin. And so he is basically just saying, can we hold the other side to account for a change instead of just chastising me for calling it out? And the reason why this gets under my skin so much is I've seen this type of thing so much in my life. Maybe it's because it's the autistic in me, but, you know, I've called out bad behavior before, or, you know, or maybe I've done something slightly wrong before, and I get just like leapt on because of it. You know, the teachers in the class would yell at me for calling it out, or people would get mad at me for calling out this bad behavior. Or if I messed up in just even the slightest, since I was always such the good kid, it seemed to hit differently when I did it. And so their reaction to me misspeaking was over the top, like totally disproportional to how they would handle other kids who would normally be the kids that misbehave. And this is where, again, I kind of get that frustration is we're so used to it coming from the Conservatives that is just par for the course. We don't think much of it. We let it slide. But if somebody on the left does it, oh no, that's horrible. That's, oh, the decorum, oh no. And it just pisses me off that as adults, these are all adults in that room, this is still happening. Because I was really hoping that type of thing I would grow out of when I was done with high school. But then I got into some jobs and stuff like that, and I learned that, no, adults don't tend to grow out of that. I was just kind of hoping that the Speaker of the House here, you know, it's kind of his job to be above that, and he's not.
As I had indicated to all colleagues here, I was not able to hear or track the source of that statement.
Then you ask who did it. Like, there are people who knew. The person who did it could acknowledge it. You know how right-wingers always say, no, I'd say that to your face. I'd own it. Well, let's have them own it. How about?
And I'm just asking the Prime Minister to be the better person and to please.
Again, pet peeve. They're always asking the liberal, the lefty side to be above it. You know, you're the side that needs to be above this rhetoric. You need to be the bigger person. Don't expect the cons to be a bigger person, because we all know they won't be.
Please just withdraw the comment and start his question again. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I withdraw the comment about defecating. I certainly, using the word
Gotta love that Canadian snark.
crap. I shouldn't use that. I know crap is unparliamentary, but I will also, Mr. Speaker, when someone says something that is clearly homophobic, not them, I'm not accusing them of homophobia, I'm saying they made a homophobic.
Again, that is right. And he was trying, like, here is Justin Trudeau trying to be gracious, as in, like, no, they're not specifically homophobic, but that comment was homophobic. But I'm not accusing them of being the homophobic assholes they are. No, that comment, though, however, was. And again, they cut his mic.
I appreciate the Prime Minister withdrawing his comment, and the Chair accepts him withdrawing that comment. But as the Speaker had indicated, sometimes in this chair, and for those who have occupied this chair or who will occupy this chair will understand, it is a very difficult decision day to day. I heard a comment, I did not know who said it, and the Speaker chose, for the reputation of this House, for us to move on from that comment. I asked the Prime Minister to withdraw the comment. I appreciate you withdrawing the comment. The Prime Minister, please respond to the question that was asked by the...
Mr. Speaker, I know the very idea of standing up for Canada's rights and values on the world stage makes the Leader of the Opposition's skin crawl. What is it exactly? Is it standing up to fight climate change? Is it standing up for women's rights? Is it standing up for democracy rights and freedom of the press? Whatever it is, he sure doesn't like it when Canada stands proudly on the world stage, because he wants everyone to think that Canada is broken. Well, Canada's not broken. Canada's the best country in the world, but we're going to make it even better.
I will have to disagree with that, though, slightly. There are parts of Canada that are extremely broken. But, you know, he's Prime Minister, so he tends to say, oh, no, it's the best country in the world, without acknowledging it. Anyway, that's me being nitpicky here.
The Honourable Member from Nunavut.
And then a lot of applause and stuff like that. So now we get into, we know who did it. MP responds to claim that he made homophobic comment. You're not prepared for what you're about to see. Counsel General Tom Clark as new residents. The House of Commons transcript suggested during Trudeau's response when Prime Minister was arguing Clark's role to engage with international leaders on various issues, an unnamed MP yelled, "Does he engage with them in the bathtub?" And that was MP Garnett. I'm probably mispronouncing the name. Genuis? Because if that is genius, that's kind of hilarious. The MP for Alberta riding. Oh, Alberta. Not shocking then this comment was coming from him. Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan saying bathtub. The microphones didn't pick up the full comment, but he did say, does he engage with them in the bathtub? Well, this is him responding to this comment that he made, trying to justify this comment that he made.
So following questions from the Leader of the Opposition about a $9 million luxury condo purchased by the government, and in particular identifying among the features of that condo a luxury bathtub, the Prime Minister ignored reference to those features and instead spoke about the engagement done by the government internationally. Right. And the Hansard shows the exchange. And many of the comments about made on Twitter about what was allegedly said don't reflect what's in the Hansard. The Hansard notes, does he engage with them in the bathtub? The point of that comment is to illustrate that, of course, meetings don't take place in a bathtub. A luxurious bathtub has nothing to do with meetings. The Prime Minister's answer had nothing to do with the questions, but it had nothing to do with sex. I wasn't thinking about sex at all.
Oh no, that dude was definitely thinking about gay sex in the bathtub. You know, when I was talking about people engaging in the bathtub, I really meant like engaging with the idea that there's a bathtub and people engaging in the bathtub, and I'm not talking about sex. I'm not talking about gay sex in the bathtub.
Does he engage with them in the bathtub? The point of that comment is to illustrate that, of course, meetings don't take place in a bathtub.
No, you don't say. Then why did you say, do you engage with him in the bathtub? If meetings don't take place in the bathtub, what are you engaging with in the bathtub then? If you're acknowledging that the meetings don't take place there, then why are you asking Justin Trudeau if he engaged with them in the bathtub?
Reflect what's in the Hansard. The Hansard notes, does he engage with them in the bathtub? The point of that comment is to illustrate that, of course, meetings don't take place in a bathtub. A luxurious bathtub has nothing to do with meetings. The Prime Minister's answer had nothing to do with the questions, but it had nothing to do with sex. I wasn't thinking about sex at all.
You know, meetings don't take place in this luxury bathtub. I wasn't talking about sex. It had nothing to do with sex. I wasn't thinking about sex when I was asking Justin Trudeau if he engages in the bathtub. That's not what I was talking about. This dude was definitely thinking about gay sex in the bathtub. I'm just saying, like, I'm picking up some vibes here. He was definitely thinking about that.
A luxurious bathtub has nothing to do with meetings. The Prime Minister's answer had nothing to do with the questions, but it had nothing to do with sex. I wasn't thinking about sex at all. Never mind.
I wasn't thinking about sex. It had nothing to do with sex. I wasn't thinking about sex in the bathtub, in this luxurious bathtub with, you know, the scented soaps and the bubble bath and the oils and the slick feeling that you have and the warm water and all the steam. Oh, it's so steamy in there. It just like steams up the window. It's so hot in that bathtub, and it's a very luxurious, like there's room for a few in there. But I wasn't talking about sex. It had nothing to do with. I don't even think about sex ever. I'm sorry. I love this so much. Just his total denial of it and him coming across as one of the most closeted people ever.
The Hansard notes, does he engage with them in the bathtub? The point of that comment is to illustrate that, of course, meetings don't take place in a bathtub. A luxurious bathtub has nothing to do with meetings. The Prime Minister's answer had nothing to do with the questions, but it had nothing to do with sex. I wasn't thinking about sex at all. In their mind, not mine.
He was definitely thinking about sex. But he doesn't get in trouble for that either. It's just, And, you know, just again, people saying like, we're still waiting for him to withdraw and apologize for his homophobic and disgusting comment and all this sort of stuff, which isn't going to happen. And yeah, he was just focused so much on that luxurious bathtub. Do you engage in a luxurious bathtub? You know, maybe have some negotiations, work out those diplomatic issues. Do you negotiate in the bathtub? Like, how ridiculous is that? Oh. You see, this is what you Americans are missing out on by not having a question period. Could you imagine a question period in the United States?